Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jay Coffee Talk back again. Got another video for you guys. Got some, an NFL sports blog for you guys. Before we get all into it, please slide underneath the video. Hit that thumbs up, that like, hit that subscribe button. Help this channel grow, guys. And don't forget the notification bell, because YouTube is definitely lacking these days on getting the notifications out to the subscribers. So check it out, man. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. But, so of course I want to hear from my fellow Bills Mafia, but also just any NFL or sports fans out there. Let's get into this and let's talk about this. E.J. Manuel. We took him in the first round of the 2013 NFL draft, which, man, was that a very weak draft when it came to quarterbacks. And, many people say just period was a weak draft, But, at the time, all the analysts were saying we jumped by taking him in the first round. Back at that time, I wouldn't have told you you were flat out crazy, but I would have told you you were wrong. I was really high on E.J. Manuel. I was really psyched that we picked him, and just, everyone, we know these analysts ain't always right, but they were all like, man, the Bills jumped with Manuel. And I just really thought E.J. was going to be that dude. I really did. A big part of it was the frustration, that we have had at that time at the quarterback position for so long. But, so I was just happy to see us do something in the draft, as far as quarterbacks went. But, man, it just, I don't know, and then it's just crazy. He retires today at 29. Now, his rookie season, he originally wasn't supposed to start. He was supposed to sit back and learn. Kevin Kolb was supposed to start. Kevin Kolb slips on a mat, in the off season, fucking blows his knee out, then gets a concussion in, a preseason game later. It was just a mess, and Manuel ended up starting. Our third stringer, Jeff Toole, who was an undrafted quarterback, almost started week one, but didn't end up happening. But anyways, because Manuel was hurt too in the preseason. But anyways, I thought he was progressing somewhat nicely, in his rookie season up until Thursday night football game. I want to say it was around week 5 or so. I could be wrong. But, he blew his knee out, which was a late hit. I don't know if I'd necessarily flat out call it a cheap shot, but it was definitely a late hit. And, then he came back. Thad Lewis filled in. EJ was out for a few weeks, and then he came back. And it just seemed like, as I said, I thought he was progressing okay. We were in every game up until that point that he got hurt, Either we won or we lost and was in the game. There wasn't really any blowouts. But when he came back, it just was a mess for him, man. He was highly inconsistent. There was games he played like shit, and then there was games that he looked just outstanding, and we're like, oh, okay. But his second year rolled around. He played 4 games, was 2-2, and it was just he couldn't throw the ball downfield. He threw an ugly pick 6 that J.J. Watt ran back, and he got benched in favor of Kyle Orton, who, we finished 9-7 and almost made the playoffs, but that was it, man. We only seen EJ a couple more times. He looked horrendous, and that was that, and since then, he started a game in Oakland, looked really rough, and it's just, I don't know, man. It seems like, obviously, he just didn't want it anymore, because as far as the retirement's gone, he hasn't given out any kind of statement at all. He just, it's just been put out there that he retires, he's trying to walk away quietly is what's being said, and it just seems like, he's just doesn't want it anymore. Things just didn't pan out well. It's tough to see, but I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think, all my fellow football fans, about Manuel. Like, did you see this in the cards for him to basically be a bust and then, be retiring at 29? But I will also say when his in Buffalo after that rookie year with us, the second year, the coach Marone, after the 2-2 start, Manuel did not look that well, but Marone did not really care for Manuel was the word. And then the next season we saw Rex Ryan come in, and you know what I mean. There was just coaching changes and things like that, and injuries, and it just, I don't know, like, it wasn't all just that he went out and just didn't produce and just flat out failed and was horrible. You know what I mean? There were some obstacles and he didn't overcome them well. And he's kind of come out and said, spoke of his time in Buffalo that things weren't the greatest. There was there was a lot of other stuff going on outside of football, drama with the team. It just didn't work out well for him, we'll say. But it's just so crazy with quarterbacks coming out of the draft. I mean, we see busts at other positions too, but it's just crazy with some of these quarterbacks how outstanding they look, and then they get to the NFL and they just can't, they can't adapt and change and mature with their game and succeed in the NFL. Now, if we look at the whole, as I said, the 2013 quarterback draft class is looking back, it was just a bunch of busts in reality. Going down, the names here. Geno Smith, we obviously know what happened with Geno. Everyone was real psyched up with that game in college with West Virginia. He had like 500 or 700 passing yards, something ridiculous. Get in the comments if anyone remembers exactly. I didn't, look it up in making this video, but I remember the game really well at that time. And he was on all the, media platforms that cover sports. He was up there, with to be one of the top picks in the draft. And then he kind of kept his stock, went down. But, I remember at the time a good friend of mine who is not a Bills fan, but, he's got some love for the Bills and he knows that's my team. He was like, man, you guys need to get Geno. You guys need to get Geno. But we seen he struggled as well. Then with the Jets, then he ended up with Giants, back up behind Eli, started a couple games there. Then he was with the Chargers. Like, he's a journeyman. And he's actually just signed a deal with the Seahawks. So he's going to be fighting for a roster spot there. I wouldn't be surprised if, he gets cut. And then Glennon actually, I remember at the end of the 2013 season, they were saying, hey, Glennon is the best out of these guys that went in the draft this year. And, the Buccaneers didn't finish well, in the standings. But Glennon did have some success out there. But, nothing outstanding. Nothing to really, that's really going to stick out in your mind and you're really going to remember. I don't know, looking back, I guess it was kind of mediocre. I remember late in the season after E.J. Manuel's injury that year, we lost to Tampa Bay in an ugly, low-scoring, like no offense type game. Glennon got the W. Barkley actually is a backup with the Bills now, so we forget. Like, I forget that he came out of that draft class, but he kind of bounced around, rode the bench, was drafted by Philly, didn't really, we might have seen him come in, I believe he might have played in one game in his rookie year or second year. Like, he never really got a shot. Someone got hurt and he might have played, but when he filled in last year for us in Buffalo against the Jets, he looked phenomenal, man. I know it's just one game, but all his passes were on point. And if you guys remember, all my Bills fans, I know you guys will remember, but, other NFL fans, if you remember, after Josh Allen was hurt last year because of a cheap shot, Peterman started some games. It was fucking ugly. Then we seen Derek Anderson play. He was better than Peterman, but didn't do so great, but the dude was retired, had been golfing, when we called him up to offer him a contract. Then he got hurt, and we signed Barkley, and man, Barkley balled out. So I am glad, that we have him as the backup. But it was crazy. After that game, he was the last game before he started the last game before Josh Allen came back, and it was like, I mean, obviously we're gonna give Josh Allen his job back, but he just played such a phenomenal game. A lot of people, I remember, like my fellow Bills Mafia on Twitter and everything, was like, man, we kind of want to see what Barkley can do again. You know what I mean? But yeah, I totally forgot Barkley was in that draft class, but he just never really got a shot to play, and that is the same with Ryan Nassib. Now, when we drafted Manuel, as I was saying, Doug Marrone was our coach, who had just come from coaching in Syracuse, and he coached Nassib. That's where he played. So there was a lot of talk that Nassib was coming to Buffalo, and obviously we didn't end up taking him. The Giants did, I believe, in like the third round. But Nassib, stock kept kind of going up and down, and then on draft day, I remember seeing some people having him as the top quarterback in that draft, but, just looking back, they were so wrong about the talent at quarterback in this draft. But Nassib has thrown 10 passes, and since, he's been in the NFL. He rode the bench behind Eli Manning for years. He never got a shot to play. He was the backup. But I remember, hearing lots of good talk about him, that he looked great, and I thought he was going to be their future quarterback. But then, after the contract ran out, the Giants didn't sign him back, and then I believe New Orleans signed him and cut him. But I don't know. It's like I heard that Nassib retired, but he's still, if you look him up, he's still listed as a quarterback who's a free agent. He is still, he's not retired, but I don't know exactly what happened with him. I know he had an injury. I don't know if that's why he's been cut by teams since, New York, or what the deal is, but he's another guy that never really got a shot. So I honestly believe he would have did more than what E.J. Manuel and Geno Smith did, though. But yeah, man, it's either guys who were flat out busts or guys who just never got a shot to play. So I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just kind of crazy looking back to think how highly scouted Geno and E.J. Manuel were. But I do know, everyone was saying we jumped on E.J. Most people were saying at the highest he should have been a late first rounder. So I don't know, guys. It's just crazy to look back at all these quarterbacks and, where are they now? Glennon is with the Raiders, though, I believe. He's fighting to make the team. I believe, who else do they got there besides Derek Carr? They actually have Peterman, I believe. And I'm not sure who else other than Glennon. I believe they got someone else, too. Another thing, too, that I didn't mention about E.J. Manuel is, he was just with the Raiders and got cut. He was there for a couple of years. Started one game and it was ugly, as I said. But he got signed by the Chiefs, and he was going to have a chance over this offseason to battle it out and try and land a roster spot. He signed for $800,000 or something like that. So he walked away from that. So I don't know, guys. It just seems like he doesn't want it anymore, as I said. But that's all really got, guys. I just kind of wanted to, kick it with my fellow Bills Mafia and fellow sports fans and just kind of see what you guys have to say about this E.J. Manuel retirement news and, what you guys thought about his short, lived career in the NFL and just about that whole draft class. If you guys don't know, if you do know, but if you didn't know, that's what this channel, how it works, what it is all about is I like to just, make the videos, report on it, give my take on it, and then open the comments up as a thread to you guys, an open thread where we just kind of kick it about everything. That's what this channel is all about, hearing what you guys have to say. So make sure you get up in them comments, guys. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. I can agree to disagree. We can debate, whatever, as long as we keep it respectful. So, can't wait to hear from you guys in the comments. Like, subscribe, notification bell. J Coffee Talk signing out. Blogging, sports, music, news, current events, and more. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.